I went and picked a few crab apples just yesterday. These rather scabby looking little things are wild crabs, or as near as you're likely to get. But even a wilding apple, something that has come out of a hedgerow, it's still as sour as old boots, this thing. And for our purposes, it'll do fine as a crab apple, and we can boil it up. Now, the rule of thumb is it's about the same volume of fruit. See, that's a pint jug, and water. So what I'm going to do is just shove them in the pan. I did give them a slight wash, but you know, that's because some of them came off the ground. If they come off the tree, I wouldn't even have bothered. And I'm not doing anything else to them, so it's extremely simple process. I'm going to add a pint of water. Here we go. Fill this up. Water straight off the hill. It doesn't come through any chlorine or anything nasty around here. Just a few filters. And then that's actually quite a generous amount of water because we're going out, so we don't want it to catch. I'm not going to cover that. I'll just leave it open. They'll just go slowly cook to a mush, which is what we want. We're looking for a mush. I've got various leaves on the table here because a new piece of work's just shown us that you can identify crab apples to some degree with a hand lens. You're looking for a smooth green leaf, particularly smooth on the underside, without any hairs on this leaf stem, which is called the petiole, and on the blade of the leaf. And this one doesn't appear to have any. It seems quite clean. Whereas if I pick up this domestic apple, when I look at it through the lens, it looks like felt on the bottom of the leaf. I have to say that some of the older varieties of apple tree don't look quite so felted as that. So you've got to be on your toes. You've got to be able to spot a few little hairs. This is domestic. It's not very hairy, but it's got a few around the margins. So it's of interest. We have got real wild apples out there, but they're perhaps a little bit difficult to find. And plenty of wildings, some with a bit of domestic genetic material in them and plenty of wild in. They're all sour, and that's what we want. We're going to make verjuice. Verjuice was used as a vinegar substitute in the Middle Ages, well, through quite late, because anybody could make it. You just had to stew up apples and strain them off. And you've got this potently acid liquid that is very good for pickling. I've used it for chutneys and things. It really works. Here's a simple way to make a jelly bag. You get a stool, any old stool, turn it upside down like that. You get a bit of old sheet. You can see this one's been used before. And you put it over the corners. And you fix it with rubber bands on that one. You see we've got a bag hanging down there now. Now, don't neglect to put something underneath to catch the drips, and you'll know how much you're likely to produce. Mine's going to be around a pint because that's what I put in. Some juice will come out, but some moisture will be boiled off, so that'll be about right, I think. I've taken this off the stove now, and it's hot, so you've got to respect hot liquids. I'm going to transfer it into the jelly bag, but gently, because I don't want it to splatter. It could easily splatter in my face. So I'm just going to take my time, shove it through with the spoon, and there it is, beginning to trickle through. So we'll just let that drain for however long it takes. So the jelly bag has stopped dripping, and we can take the the bowl with the juice in it, the liquor. Now this is what I was talking about. This is actually verjuice, and if I wanted to keep this vinegar-like substance, I could put it in a sterilised bottle and put it in the fridge, and it would keep for, you know, all winter. But in fact, we'll take it through the process of making crabapple jelly. So I'm going to measure it. It was a very small quantity. Normally I'd be dealing with a lot more than this. Now there's a rule of thumb here, which is, you'll be horrified by this, it's a pint to a pound of sugar. So jams and jellies are always half sugar, which is sort of appalling, but it means you should use them very sparingly, I think. So that's going in there. Then I have measured up some sugar, and that goes in with it. And then I've got to stir it to dissolve it. And at the same time, I put in the oven a jar, or if you're doing a big batch, of course, enough jars, and a clean jar. I put its lid in too, and it's got to be in there for 5 to 10 minutes really. And this is coming up to the boil very quickly. Yes, now I can see that that is crinkling. It just builds up into a little jelly type top. Right, I'm simply going to decant this into the hot jar. There we are. Whilst it's hot, get that on. Carefully tighten up. And there we are. 1 pot of crabapple jelly.